Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Hello everybody, Jasmine here. Join me today as I take on the challenge of recreating Disneyland's iconic Ronto-Less garden wrap from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge right from home. I do intend on making this a series where we recreate Disneyland dishes. I can't think of a title though. George and I were talking, we were thinking fairy tale feast, magical meals, but nothing is hitting the way I really want it to. So please leave some suggestions in the comments. Maybe we can think of a title together, maybe even a catchphrase for the intro. Whenever somebody asks me what's my favorite dish at Disneyland, I always say the Ronto-Less garden wrap from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Speaking from memory, I know it's bright, it's acidic, the kick of spice. It's not that spicy though, and see, this is the problem. It's a little bit of a distant memory because I can't get it every time I go to Disneyland. Usually when George and I go to Disneyland, we're filming new foods, and so we don't always have the stomach space to enjoy this dish. So I think we have to take a pause here, go to Disneyland, refresh our memory, and then come back and recreate it. Let's go! Here we have it. We have the Ronto-Less garden wrap. It has a plant-based sausage, spicy kimchi slaw, sweet pickled cucumber, plant-based gochujang spread, and wrapped in pita. Just looking at it, I see either parsley or cilantro. I see red bell pepper, the cucumbers, obviously, which have been pickled, a slaw, carrots, purple cabbage, lettuce, furikake. All right, let's give this a try so we can remember what this tastes like and best recreate it at home. You know what this would be good for? Pre-making this and bringing it to like a dinner party, potluck, and you can make these into like little sliders too.
As an honorary taste tester, I gotta try this and make sure that she's making it good. Like a Greek wrap, but with like dumpling meat and a little bit of like bun meat in there. Really good. See what you can do.
All right, I think I have everything I need. Let's go back home and make it. That was a fun little field trip. I'm really excited now. Today, we're actually not gonna be making it plant-based. I know at Disneyland, it is a plant-based recipe, but you know what? I had ground beef at home, so I'm just gonna use that. If you are plant-based and you eat plant-based, then feel free to use Beyond or Impossible or whatever plant-based meat that you wanna go with. Let's start with the pickled cucumbers. It is a quick pickle. If you have time to do it the day before, I recommend you do so, but we have 2 cups of Persian cucumbers, thinly sliced, water, white vinegar, sweetener of your choice. Feel free to use sugar. I am actually using monk fruit sweetener today. And finally, salt. I am using Malden salt. You'll see in the recipe that is included in the description below that the amounts that are in the recipe are specifically for this serving size. The amount of pickled cucumbers that I'm making right now, you won't be using all of it for this recipe. It's just, you know, it's a good amount of work to make pickled cucumbers, and I'm not gonna do this much work for like 3 sliced cucumbers. And it's always nice to have extra pickled cucumbers. So first we're gonna add in our water, white vinegar, sweetener, and of course, feel free to adjust the ingredient amounts to whatever you see fit and to your palate. And finally, our salt. I have the stove on medium, and we're just gonna stir this until it dissolves. Side note, look at my apron. Shout out to Hedley and Bennett. They sent me this adorable Disney themed apron. This one has Eeyore. I have another one that has Winnie the Pooh. I love them. They're so adorable. All right, looks like sugar is all dissolved. I'm gonna remove this from heat. We're gonna let this cool before we pour it over our cucumbers. I'm gonna add my cucumbers into my Tupperware. And now that this has cooled down, I'm just gonna pour it right over. Get it all submerged. It smells good. I love pickled cucumber. I think next time I make this, I'll add some garlic in, then it could be like a garlicky pickled cucumber. That would be so good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So like I said before, if you have time to make this ahead of time, like a day ahead of time, it'll be extra pickled. We're not gonna be doing that today, but a quick pickle will still be delicious. I'm just putting it in the fridge until we need it for later. All right, let's make the slaw. We have some Napa cabbage, some purple cabbage, some kimchi, some grated carrot, red bell pepper, and chopped cilantro. If you love your slaw with some extra ingredients, I say, hey, zhuzh it up if you want to. You're gonna see them in different bowls. Actually, it's supposed to be the same amount. I just ran out of bowls that are the same size. But because we have this, I'm gonna mix everything into the biggest bowl I have. And this part is as simple as combining all the ingredients. I did chop my kimchi up to be a little finer. Our grated carrot, red bell pepper, and chopped cilantro. I'm actually a cilantro hater, but you know, when I was chopping up the cilantro for the first time ever, I was like, wow, that smells kind of good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I having a change of heart? Am I becoming a cilantro liker? Not lover, I think that's a bit far. Even though this is my biggest bowl, it's actually not big enough, so I'm gonna grab a bigger bowl. That's one of my things I need to work on. I really need to work on just using a bigger bowl because I always am like, oh, that's big enough, and then it's not. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Now I have to wash more dishes because I thought I was good enough. This smells already very similar to the Ronto-Less garden wrap. Also looks similar already too. Oh, I just want to eat the slaw. Isn't it pretty? I love a colorful meal. I just feel like it is packed with nutrition. I also need to eat healthier now. I was recently diagnosed with arthritis. I'm not even 30 and I have spinal arthritis, guys. Anyway, this is honestly a pretty healthy dish. Let's cover this up, put it in the fridge, and get to the next part. Now that our slaw is made, we're gonna mix up our gochujang mayo. Super easy. We're gonna start with some Kewpie mayo. If you don't have Kewpie mayo, feel free to use American mayo. Some gochujang. Typically, gochujang is a little more red than this. Admittedly, this is an open jar of gochujang, so it's oxidated in my fridge a bit, but it still tastes fine, don't worry. And last but not least, kimchi juice. I'm just gonna mix this up. Georgia and I recently were talking about our least favorite rides at Disneyland, and I said Star Tours. And Georgia's like, what? That's a good ride. And I'm like, yeah, it's a good ride, but like I personally, I can't handle like 3D rides, like screen rides. 4D, yeah. Well, 3D too. This is why we don't watch 3D movies.
That's true, yeah. It's nauseating.
It's so nauseating, and like, I don't know, I just get dizzy, and like I need to take 2 Dramamines before I even go on to any 4D rides or screen rides. I love Universal Studios, but I'm not the biggest fan of their rides because it's all computers, it's all screens, and I'm like, I just need like Rise of the Resistance or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. The way they utilize screens to me is really fun. But you know what I found out, babe? If you want to be picked as the spy, you have to have the glasses off.
Really?
Yes, they can't pick anyone who already has their glasses on. All right, let's give this a little tasty taste. It actually could use a little bit of sweetener. I'm gonna add in like maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of sweetener. I'm using monk fruit sweetener, but I'm not gonna add in too much. I do think it's gonna be well balanced with our slaw as well as the pickled cucumbers. Much better. I'm gonna put this in the fridge. Let's make the meat patties now. I have here my ground beef. To the ground beef, I'm gonna add in some salt, some black pepper, and some chili oil. Give this a mix, make sure everything is well incorporated. As I mix this, we're gonna share some insider behind the scenes of us filming our asking cast members for their food recommendations. Often people are like, oh my God, they must have so much fun recommending their favorite foods. But George and I have a really tough time getting people to want to participate. When we ask them, we're like, hey, no pressure. And then we give them our little pitch and ask them if they want to be in it. And then if they're not comfortable, we do not like push at all because we know like not everyone wants to be on camera. We actually do spend more time getting rejected from cast members than we do spend time filming those foods. But we are very thankful for the people who have participated in now, 19 episodes. Actually, I've been filming Disneyland food content for nearly 7 years. But the series itself has been about 3 years. And the hardest part is getting new food recommendations. A lot of people have the same food recommendations. Makes sense because the icons are the icons for a reason. But yeah, it's harder to get food recs than people think. And we don't tell them what to say. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, is there anything you want to try? And I'm like, oh, this one. And they're like, ooh, that sounds really good. Can I recommend that? And we're like, oh yeah, if you want to. But we're never like, say this.
You should recommend this.
That would be bogus.
Yeah. You know, that would make filming so much easier, but like...
that would make things... Yes, exactly. We want it to be authentic and genuine. Okay, perfect. This is beautifully mixed. I'm just gonna separate this into 4. Let me show you this hack. Our meat patties are actually gonna be more like meat logs. We're gonna lay out our parchment paper. Gonna put my meat in the center there. Gonna roll it over. And we're just gonna roll it. I saw this hack online and it sucks. Look, this is so much easier. Screw the hack. We're going manual mode, baby. Because the meat is expected to shrink a little bit, you can make it just a little bit wider, just a little bit longer. And similar to a lula kebab, I'm gonna make these little indentations. I would just advise you to size and shape it according to the size of your pita bread. I'm gonna transfer it onto my plate here, and I'm gonna do the same for the remaining portions of meat. All right, let's get the grill. It's time to cook. I got my indoor grill on. I'm just gonna brush it with some oil. This is the same grill we use for our KBBQ nights. It is really hot, which is gonna be beautiful for the grill marks on our meat logs. Perfect, let's do 2 at a time. Crossing my fingers that our fire alarm doesn't go off. Let's open the window, just for good measure. Since I can see it from the sides, I'm gonna flip it when I see it cook through about halfway, a little less than halfway.
Smells good.
It does. Just wanna make sure it's not burning. Ooh, it's beautiful. This has become one of my favorite kitchen utensils, my fish spatula. I can use it for anything that is long, like this, which is really helpful. Let's give these a flip. Oh, that looks good.
Wow.
Wow. Ooh, I'm excited. This is a way more generous portion than what you would get at Disneyland, I will say. Once these meat logs are cooked through, does meat logs sound funny? All right, anyway, once these meat logs are cooked through, we're gonna finish cooking our other 2 meat logs, and then we'll let them rest for a little bit and assemble the wraps. Our meat is fully cooked. They look so, so good. I actually cooked them to be medium well, so it's gonna be nice and tender on the inside. And I'm gonna be using store-bought pitas. If you wanna make your own pitas from scratch, by all means. We're just not gonna be doing that today. And I'm gonna be warming up a couple pita breads on the grill. I'm gonna absorb that meat flavor into the pita, and it's gonna make it extra delicious. Since we're only having 1 Ronto-Less garden wrap per person, I'm just gonna make 2 for now, and then we'll have extras for later. No need to leave them on the grill for too long. We're just gonna warm them up on both sides, and then I'm gonna grab all the ingredients from the fridge that we made earlier, and then we can get to assembling. We've reached the assembly portion, which is probably my favorite part of this recipe, because that means we get to eat very soon. I have my warmed up pita bread right over here. Let's place one of our meat logs. Spoon on some of our gochujang mayo. Yum. Some of our kimchi slaw. Oh yeah, I'm gonna load it up. I'm salivating. And then final touch, some of our pickled cucumbers. How's it look? Does it look amazing?
So good.
All right, we have it, guys. We have our from home Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Ronto-Less wrap from Disneyland. Look how gorgeous these are. I forgot, guys, we're not done. I forgot the garnishes. Okay, we're gonna add some toasted sesame seeds and some seaweed furikake. Now we're done. Oh my gosh. All right, babe, let's eat.
Oh my God. Honestly, watching from the camera, this looks so good.
This is definitely bigger.
It's more beautiful.
Wow, thank you. Cheers.
Mmm.
Mmm.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm.
Mmm.
That's got Ronto wrap energy for sure.
Mmm. I actually think it tastes really close to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly the same, and I think everything's gonna taste different when you're not at Disneyland because the vibes of Disneyland is an additional ingredient.
I think it's like hit the nail on the head. Like the sauce tastes so similar, I can't even tell it apart.
Challenge successful.
Challenge victorious.
I'm really happy with how this turned out.
Me too.
All right, guys, we're gonna finish these up, but let us know in the comments what Disneyland dish we should recreate next, and if you have those ideas for what we should call this series,
oh yeah,
please let us know in the comments below too. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, give us a thumbs up, and
hit the notification bell.
I always forget that one. All right, guys, see ya.
Bye.